Well, that wasn't supposed to happen. Sounds kind of like a B series. Definitely has more power. That's crazy. Hey guys, it's the next day. Here is the parts car right here, and here is the carburetor. This is literally the same thing that's on the other car. It's just this is a 1.8 liter and that's a 1.5 liter. So this carburetor may be jetted different, but otherwise all of it is the same. Kinda. I think this is a newer one. Just some things about this one are different than the other one, but at the end of the day, they're still both WEBER 3236s. This one is a wire choke versus that one is an electronic choke, so that is a small difference. I'm kind of hoping that the electronic choke will just bolt onto this one right here. I could just unbolt the wire choke, bolt on the electronic choke, and hopefully we can keep on that. Otherwise, I'm going to have to run a choke linkage, which isn't the end of the world, but it's just another thing to do. So let's get this carburetor on off and go put it on the other car and see if it makes it run better. Well, I got the carb off. Here I am at the GL. I already did notice that my fuel inlet for the bowl is backwards, which kind of sucks, but honestly, if that's my biggest issue I'm having right now, it's not a big deal. In fact, I might actually like that. I'm gonna have to run more rubber line, but I'll kind of get this away from over the engine, and I'll put it more over here and kind of tuck it in the back. Oh yeah, except for that vacuum line there. And there's our gasket, which is probably giving us grief. Well, I got them both on the workbench here, and I'm just going to point out the obvious. So, the first thing, fuel inlets on wrong sides, and I got to drill and tap these to make these work, and I don't have, well, I probably do have a drill and tap, I just really don't feel like doing that right now. I was thinking I could bolt this guy on top here to here, because there's a little screw there that would allow that linkage to bolt there. However, if we look at the electric choke, there is a casting right here on the Venturi tube or whatever that screws into, and unfortunately on the mechanical one it's completely missing, as you can tell. There, see, just to the left of the flathead screw there, there's nothing there. And another thing about these older ones, which I kind of like actually, is you see these here, these are blocked off vacuum ports, I think. And when you go over to these where there'd be a vacuum port, it's just a hole waiting to be drilled. So this one's like more optioned out, I guess. I don't know, but just for funsies, we're gonna try and throw this carburetor on. We're gonna let this one sit, maybe throw it on the 1020 over there. And the only reason I haven't done any more work on the 1020 is the cooling belt on it came apart because it was archaically old. So I do gotta buy a new belt for that. Surprisingly, they're still available from Steiner Tractor, so maybe I'll get one of those on pretty soon here, but I got other things to take care of first here. So let's get this carburetor on and see how she does. Well, folks, after a lot of finagling, we got the carb on there. I did have to adapt this to this style of a linkage. Excuse the messy wires. The other one had the style where you had the little whatchamacallit in. Well, this one was broken off ages ago, so this is the pinchy boy style. And then right here, I just put a copper wire in. Some 20 gauge copper wire because there was a really small hole there, but I think that's okay being loose. I'm not that worried about it. I'm gonna put a jam nut on there. I think this is a metric thread, like a 1 M6 by 1, I believe. So put a jam nut on there so that won't move. Let's start by tuning this carb here. I'd be lying if I said I haven't ran it a little bit already. If I remember in the manual, they say you got to turn. Okay, you go right there. You're annoying. Oh my Lanta. All right. There. So you're supposed to turn this all the way in and then back out 2.5 turns. And then that's where you start the tuning. I believe we completely mitigated our vacuum leak issue. So the gaskets, I put RTV on every one. It's got a little bit of a gasket spacer there, so not as much thermal heat gets into the carb, so it can't vapor lock. This is how I decided to run the fuel line. I was going to run it underneath, but this intake manifold gets really hot because coolant flows through it, and I did not want a lot of heat getting in the fuel because, you know, vapor locking and whatnot. Nice thing is this does have a fuel return, so heat isn't as bad. But yeah, there it is. I don't have the choke wired up yet, but it's warm enough out right now, so I'm not that worried about having a functional choke yet. So yeah, let's get this thing tiled. But we'll probably need that choke once it starts to get to, you know, 30 below or something. That'll be fun. Give her a pump. Well, that wasn't supposed to happen. Did we just get like the vacuum leak of the century, or is this stuck open? Oh, that got stuck open. Well, what is going on there then? All right, I believe I fixed that issue. Now just a liberal amount of WD-40 on these linkages here, and I think we'll be set. All right, since I flooded it a bunch, this time we're gonna intentionally hold the throttle down and then let off as soon as she starts revving up. I don't know what's going on, guys. Well, it's just an assumption. This really should have better of a return, but it was still catching. But you could see that angle on there. This is grease, but I guess it's not enough, so I'm gonna try bending that linkage so it's more straight with it, and hopefully it can return properly. You are always getting in the way of my shots. There. Well, I'm gonna be honest, many things were tried, and I had a spring in there working pretty good, but it just felt too tight, and I didn't want to break my throttle cable. So, just temporarily, I have a bungee cord holding it. I know, bungee cord, something elastic and soft like that in a hot engine bay, probably not the smartest of ideas I've had, but hey, it's what I gotta work with right now, because I gotta drive this to work tomorrow, and I know we've all had to do some rather interesting things to get to work. So I'm setting the idle right now. Let's see what the factory idle's set for. 700, give or take 50 RPM. Alrighty, I don't trust the tachometer too much on these, but I guess we can have a glance skis. Sure, we'll call that about good. Yeah, judging by how she is, I'm gonna get the rest of this all bolted up, because sometimes the blow-by here can affect your idle. It will affect your idle. I'm gonna get the air cleaner on everything, and then we'll start actually tuning the idle mixture. And there we have it. I do have a vacuum gauge, but I really don't feel like hooking it up right now. I don't think it'll make a big difference. And one other modification I did that I didn't show you is I put the fuel filter before the pump, so the junk doesn't get caught in the pump. It always drives me crazy when folks do that. So I've been letting her sit for a bit here. Let's kind of give her a few rev tests and just see how she does. Okay, it kind of stumbled on its face when the secondary's open. I don't know if the accelerator pump ain't accelerating properly. Notice that our RPMs are a little higher than I'd like, but that's okay. It's a little bit later now, but I'm finally getting to drive it. I just want to go top off the gas tank. I might as well. It's on the way to during the test drive. So it does feel a little bit better with this carb on. I don't know if it's just because it's got bigger jets or whatnot, but obviously dumping more fuel at something doesn't necessarily make it run better. But yeah, so that's fascinating. It still has a vacuum leak though, because even though I tightened everything down, I heard hissing, I tightened it down, and the vacuum leak kind of went away, but when I sprayed it, it was still bogging. So I think it's just those old gaskets, they're shot in that corny plastic spacer. So I think I'm gonna get a more proper spacer for it, but for the time being, we're just driving it as is. I would like to set up a better throttle return with like an actual spring, but we're just working with what we got for now. So the throttle feels kind of funny. There's a dead spot in like the first 10% of travel, but then after that it feels pretty fine. So get on the road here and see how she feels. Sounds kind of like a B series. Definitely has more power. That's crazy. I mean, it's still slow, but because we put the carb on, or we fixed the vacuum leak. I guess I'll just say both. So top her off with fuel, and I guess I'll do a mileage test next video, and I'll let you guys know what I get for fuel economy. Because right now I'm getting an average of 25 miles per gallon. Like moderate driving, I'm not really beating on this thing. It's not right. I should be getting better fuel economy. That's honestly 50% the reason why I want to drive this. I want better fuel economy. Besides its, well, utilitarianness. Only the highest quality of fuel. I don't mind if ethanol is going in it. I'm sure some folks say you should only run these on premium, but non-ethanol, but it's fine. Look at this old gas cap too. Ain't that awesome? Alright, let's drive her on home here, and I guess we'll see in a couple days here what we're getting for an average fuel economy. I've only driven it 18 miles and we burned about a gallon of gas. Not too bad, I guess, for, you know, the way it's been treated those 18 miles. Let's see if it starts up nice. It doesn't diesel anymore too, which is awesome. Oh, sweet. See, the idle might be a little lower than it needs to be, but that's fine. Yeah, on the bottom end here, really wakes up. Kind of sounds, and I don't say it would feel like, there's a ladybug on my neck. My B series, I don't know what it is about it, just it's probably the intake noise, but it's pretty sick. And I should clarify, I meant the B16 C1 I have in my track car, not my boosted B series. That'd be a long stretch. But yeah, I mean, it sounds real good. Do a little pull here in just a moment and just kind of get the pure intake noise. It's awesome. As well as the storm here, that's awesome as well. Granny shifting. There we are. I mean, she ain't fast, but sounds pretty good for a Honda Civic. And that's the video, guys. I think with the old Weber carburetor, I'm gonna put it on the 1020 there. There's nothing really wrong with it on this car. I mean, obviously there was. This car's running better, but I'm not gonna blame the carburetor. It's just old, probably needs rebuilding. It wasn't really jetted right or anything, but this carburetor loves this engine. I'm curious to see what it gets for fuel economy. And I am curious because I don't think it's jetted properly for this engine, because that was made for a 1.8 liter and it's on a 1.5 liter right now. So probably a little bit too much fuel, but I'm not really smelling a lot of fuel. It's actually running really good. So I don't know what to say, but I guess stay tuned and we'll see more updates on this. I got to get some new gaskets too, so I could fix that silly vacuum leak that I have that I can't fix no matter what. But right now I think it's good enough. And the fact that it doesn't diesel when I shut it off now is awesome. So it definitely means that we're getting somewhere. If you guys want to see more content like this, please drop a subscribe. Please like the video. It really helps me out. And I know everyone says that, but it really helps me out. I want to grow the channel more, and it'll be fun to make videos on all sorts of old stuff, not just tractors, even though I love tractors. And please comment if you guys ever had any cars like this or any similar issues that I'm having, because you know, as much as I like old American steel, I also like some Japanese iron as well. So appreciate you guys for watching the video, and you guys have a great rest of your day.